In this video, we're going to look at downloading some data from this website called Gapminder. Gapminder.org is the name of the web address. This site is a great source for data that you might use for your projects, especially if you want stuff on international or various countries to compare different countries and things. So this data set, you'll notice when you first go into the data section, there's lots of things available to you from various countries and various organizations. You can kind of scroll through and look at things. You go down here, you can select an indicator and it gives you kind of a list of things maybe you're interested in based on categories. You can click on different categories, for example, environment, emissions. We can click on one of these if we want to look at CO2 emissions per person or annual CO2 emissions. Could be quite handy. We're going to look at CO2 emissions right now per person. So in this one, when I click on that source, it provides me with a little bit of information here and data. What I want to do is download this data. I don't think this is the right, yeah. If I click on this CSV, did work. Down here at the bottom, it's kind of cut off for you, but it opens a link to Excel spreadsheet. I'm on a regular computer right now. If I was on a Chromebook, I believe that'll open in Google Sheet. Okay, and we can download that data. It has data for a lot of countries and over a lot of years. CO2 emission tons per person. If I want information on the source, there's a link for the source. I can also click on here. I believe, no, if I go back here to my Google Sheet that I've already had downloaded, and it has this information on CO2 emissions tons per person. In here, as I scroll to the right, you'll notice lots of data, lots of years. Starts in the year 1800, goes all the way up to 2014, I believe. Yeah. You'll notice as I scroll to the right, all the names of the countries disappear. Not very useful. Also, if I scroll down, the dates disappear. So what I can do here is in Google Sheets, under View, I can freeze one row. I can freeze one column. What that allows me to do is as I scroll to the right, you'll see that the countries don't disappear. If I scroll down to Canada, I can still see the years, which is quite useful. What I'm going to do here is just download the years from 1950 to current. So 1950 is right there. I'm going to click on that cell, press Shift and hold down the Shift key, right arrow key all the way to the right so I can highlight all of this data for Canada. Go back here. I'm going to hit Control C for copy that data. I'm going to open a blank spreadsheet, type in the word Canada. I'm going to enter the data here. I'm going to Control V to paste the data. Data isn't in, I would prefer to have the data in a column. So I'm going to Control X to cut that data. And then instead of pasting it, I'm going to right click. Sorry, just unhighlight the cell. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to paste special and I'm going to paste transposed. What that does is it pastes it the other way. I'm just going to delete this because it didn't delete. I'm going to do the same thing for China. So again, here I'm going to scroll down to China and go to the same year, 1950. Hold the Shift button, highlight this entire thing till the end. Control C, go back to my blank document. Control V for paste. I'm going to cut that. Click on this cell, right click, paste special, transposed. So I have the data for Canada and China. I want to put in some years, so it was 1950. I could copy and paste just like I did before, or I can do this, 1950, 1951. What I can then do is click on a cell, and I'm going to hold down the left mouse button and highlight this. And then what I'm going to do is where this box is on the corner, as I hold down the left mouse button and pull down, so I'm going to go on that square and pull it down. What should happen as soon as I let go is it continues those dates and it just adds one, it adds that pattern. So I'm going to continue this all the way down to the bottom of my data set. Hopefully the last one is 2014. There we go. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shift, right click, highlight all of this data, because I'm just going to format it a little bit. I'm going to format, actually what I can do here is just in these, center it all just so it looks a little prettier. Scroll back up to the top here. My titles, I'm just going to bold them so it looks nicer. Now my data is available to use to analyze